Welcome back to American Warrior Radio right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1300 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1300WMEL.com. I say that because if you have somebody that you know living outside of our terrestrial broadcast area, which is pretty large, we go up into Volusia, over into Orange, down into Indian River, but if you're outside that area and you can't pick up our signal, then tell them to go online to 1300WMEL.com. We're live every Saturday from 11 to noon. And you know what? We even have archives of the past episodes. Just check it out, click on the archive tab, and tell people as far and wide as they are, wherever they're living, listen to 1300WMEL.com to the fine programming here every Saturday, every day actually, but don't miss American Warrior Radio every Saturday from 11 to noon. Glenn, just before the break, we were talking about a couple things. I wanted to mention a few more. We were talking about 9/11 and the injuries and the wounds that so many people suffered. David Gordon with High Stack Gordon Kirby, it's a local law firm. We had him on the program a few months ago.
Right.
He spoke about anybody that may have been injured by munitions used or built or supplied by Iran. Remember that conversation?
Yeah, and they're pressing on forward for, I guess, a lawsuit that will allow those people to be reimbursed for the injuries that they suffered.
And that's real money. We're talking money, cash money.
Yeah. I'm not sure, without doing some more research, how that may affect if you're getting disability from the VA already. So.
Well, David Gordon from High Stack Gordon Kirby said there wouldn't be any conflict or anything like that.
Okay, well, that makes the point.
Exactly. We're talking money, people. So if you know anybody that was injured by an Iranian munition during certain periods of time, look, Glenn has a phone number he'll give to you in a moment. You can check out American Warrior Radio's Facebook page. There's information about it there. Even his interview, which was YouTube, you can listen to that. And you don't want to miss opportunities like this. They don't come up every day. But if they wanted to call him, how can they do that?
Okay, get ready. 321-725-7575. Pretty easy to remember there, lots of sevens. 321-725-7575, and that's David Gordon is the lead attorney on this.
Exactly, and you hopefully will be hearing more from David and his law firm here on WMEL. We're working on that. Also, I want to mention TAPS. That's a program that one of our mental health facilitators, Dr. Scott Fairchild, we've had him on the program a number of times.
Yeah, he's a great psychologist. So.
And he treats, in particular, his focus is on our troops. He's a 22-year Army Lieutenant Colonel, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess retired Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah, retired Lieutenant Colonel, now practicing, and he helps out a lot of our vets that are suffering from PTSD, and he helps with the paperwork that's required from the VA to well-ground claims and things like that.
Yeah, he's really an expert, particularly in the PTSD arena, and he's done some workups on several veterans that I was in the process of helping that facilitated and got them the benefit for PTSD at the level it should have been.
So a little shout out for Baytree Behavioral Health and Dr. Scott Fairchild for all the fine work he's done. Well, years ago, he and Bob Cooper, my past president of Rolling Thunder, Florida Chapter 1, the two of them got together and started a program. They didn't start TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. What they did was added to it, where we, as a group of motorcyclists, come together at the hotel where the kids are going through TAPS, that Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, and they get to listen to the motorcycles, sit on them, crack the throttles. It really just kind of put a smile on their face while they're dealing with all this, because only children who have had a parent killed in action attend that event. So I wanted to get a shout out. If you want to check out this very moving, and I mean, it'll bring a tear to your eye, go to avetproject.org's Facebook page, or even on American Warrior Radio, and give that a watch and a listen, because it's set with music. It's very stirring, and it's, I think, appropriate to mention now in, having talked about 9/11.
Absolutely. So.
And with that, though, Glenn, we have so much to cover because we're always looking to get some great information out, the truth about VA benefits. Where do you want to start today?
Well, let's start with disabled veteran parking. First off, I have to tell you, to get the Florida Disabled Veteran tag, you have to be rated 100% service connected by the VA. Now,
yeah, that's a special license plate.
There's two kinds of tags. There's one without the international wheelchair symbol on it, and there's one with the international wheelchair symbol on it. And there's many, well, several anyway that I know of, several veterans organizations around here say they went and talked to the tag office people and that they were told either one of those tags is good to park in the disabled parking slot.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh, what's the straight scoop on that, Glenn?
Okay, the straight scoop right out of the Florida statutes is disabled veterans who have been issued a DV plate may only park in designated handicapped parking spaces if they also have a mobility impairment. Translation, if they have the international wheelchair emblem on that DV tag, or they have the placard to put on the rear view mirror, which has the requirements to get one of those are being mobility impaired. So
you're telling me if they're 100% service connected disabled vet, they can't just park anywhere they want?
Well, they can't park in disabled person specially marked places. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, probably there's enough individual police stations in the cities around here and the county that they may not all know the correct interpretation. So
you don't want to chance it though, folks, and here's why. When you have a mobility challenged veteran who's also 100% service connected and he or she can't find a parking spot close to where they want to go because another DV tag without the wheelchair symbol or the placard hanging down is in that spot, you got to think twice about that.
Oh, absolutely. And you might ask, well, who would have one without a wheelchair emblem on it? And the obvious first answer is person who isn't in a wheelchair.
Yes. And there's a lot of...
As prescribed by their doctor, not by their own choice. And the other would be, well, the ready example would be those with mental health disabilities who are not mobility impaired. They're impaired in other ways that cause them to be 100%.
Exactly, and there are a lot of, and thank God for the VA doing the work they do, and they do correctly, getting our, what is it, the invisible wound of war vets their compensation.
Exactly.
That's that PTSD.
PTSD and other mental health issues that, you know, not everybody's mental health issue is PTSD. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them.
Correct.
Because it seems to be a fallout from experiences in the war, or wars, and, you know,
the bottom line is...
Some of the people have been there like 4 times and more.
Right, right. So, folks, if you have a DV tag because you're 100%, you get to park for free, all right? You don't have to pay the parking meter anywhere except in a handicap spot. You can't park there. You have to have either on your license plate that international wheelchair symbol or a placard, regardless of your veteran plate.
That's right, but you can, I'll go on there, no state agency, county, municipality, or agency thereof, whatever all that means, no police, or city, or
covering the bases, CYA there.
Yeah, anybody who can give you a ticket for parking in a metered space cannot give you a ticket for parking in a metered space if you have the tag with the international wheelchair symbol, or if you have the tag without the wheelchair symbol. So don't get confused. We're talking about who can park in the actually marked, specially marked disabled person
exactly
parking spots.
And you mentioned early on in this conversation that there are several VSOs, veteran service organizations, that claim to know the law and you can park wherever you want. That's not true. You're getting the truth from us.
And I suspect when they went to the tag office, they asked the wrong question.
Yeah, probably so. But you're getting the straight thing here, and that is available at avetproject.org. There's a tab there. You'll find it regarding the Florida State Veterans Benefit Guide, and you can download it PDF style. So that's important. That's important. What else you got?
Okay, the fully developed claim is something the VA came out with to get claims submitted that were quote-unquote ready to rate, and encourage veteran service officers and the claimants, if they file the claim themselves, to submit a claim that's ready to rate, so that all the adjudicator for the VA has to do is have that claim come up and be the next one he or she looks at, and
everything's there in between the
rate
file.
it. I'm not saying everything's there to approve it, but everything's there to rate it, so, and speed the process up. And when I first started, it was only 94 days to get those kind of claims done. Now the ones I've handled are running 9 months, but I predicted that was going to happen.
Yes,
because
you did.
Everybody jumped in on that fully developed claim. But let me tell you another good part to it that even I did not know. Even I, like I'm God's gift.
Oh, you're an expert. Come on.
But claims submitted between August 6th of 2013 through August 5th of 2015.
So they still got a year.
two-year window in here that were an original claim for compensation only. So the low-income pension claims are not eligible for this.
Or a request for an increased evaluation wouldn't be eligible.
That's right. It's an original compensation claim only. So it's the first time you submit a claim.
Thank you.
If you've submitted claims before, and even if you never got any approved, this is still not going to be considered an original claim.
Because they have a file, they have a jacket on you already.
They keep your jacket forever. So.
Exactly. So if you're initial filer of a compensation claim.
That's right.
Between, what's the dates again?
August 6, 2013 and August 5th, 2015. So if you like filed a claim last August, this fully developed claim I was talking about, and you've gotten a decision back, and they didn't say that they were, what this allows to happen and should happen is they go back up to a year in the effective date from when you submitted the claim.
That's big news.
Yeah. So if you like submitted the claim in September of 2013 and you just got a rating, the effective date should be, all things considered, I'll talk about that in just a second. The effective date should be September 2012. So you filed in September 2013 and you're within this 2-year window.
They'll back it up a year.
So they'll back it up a year. If the evidence you submitted shows you were eligible for the disability before a year back.
And folks, again, as Glenn is going through this, you can see why he always calls it the if, and, or but world of VA benefits. There's all sorts of caveats. That's why you so desperately need somebody like Glenn helping you navigate the system of your claims process through the VA.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the big point here is if you filed a claim last August 6, 2013 through today, and
extended through next year,
and up through August 2015, and you get the claim rated and it's approved, and you think that the effective date should be a year earlier than the date they give you, which should be the date you submitted the claim,
right,
in normal circumstances, then you need to get a hold of me and let me know so I can help you type up a challenge to that and send it back and say, oh, you gave me the wrong, I think you gave me the wrong effective date.
You missed that one. So, and you do that by contacting Glenn at his AVET Project email. It's easy. Glenn, Glenn, at avetproject.org. Send him an email and he'll make arrangements to meet with you or do whatever. You sometimes don't even need to meet with them.
Yeah. So, and up to a year's worth of extra money.
Big time.
Yeah. Depends on what percent you get, but it, you know, let's say it was 100%.
Oh Lord!
Just so we'll throw some big money out there. That'd be close to $40,000.
Yeah. So you can see you got to have somebody helping you steer through this sea of whatever VA mess.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to have somebody that knows what they're doing. Do that. Also, on the fully developed claim, I just want to touch on that for a moment. You don't submit anything that's not well grounded in the first place. If I'm a vet, I want everybody to listen now, because there's so much misinformation, and even, let's go out, say bad information out there in the grapevine. If I'm a vet and I come to you, Glenn, I made arrangements to meet with you, and we meet at the American Legion Post 200, and I want to file a claim. I've been out for 15 years, and a week ago I busted my toe. I broke my toe, and I want to file a claim for service-connected disability comp. Am I eligible?
Yes, you're eligible to file. No, I'm not going to help you file.
That's the difference.
That's not a well-grounded claim.
Thank you. Can you share with the audience just real briefly what a well-grounded claim is?
Okay, it's something that happened to you in the military, caused by your service in the military. That's a chronic condition. It has continued till today. It's not. You can get medical evidence today to say you still have it. And hopefully you can get that doctor to review your service medical records, which you can get a copy of if you've never done that.
Correct.
And have the doctor review that versus what's wrong with you today versus what happened, and then make a statement at a minimum that says this current knee problem is as likely as not connected to the knee injury this veteran suffered on active duty, and somewhere in there say, after review of your service medical records. If the doctor says, because he told me this happened, that's not near as strong as after review of the service medical records. I'm not saying because by history, which is you told the doctor,
yeah,
will not get the claim started for you, but the chances of success are significantly lower than if you have him say after review of your service medical records.
And that's the importance of having a credentialed service officer like Glenn, and there are others around here, help you get through your claims process. Well-grounded means something happened in service, it's still bothering you today, and there's, what's that word, a nexus?
Yeah, there's a nexus. That's that statement saying it's connected back. Normally that statement comes from your doctor. Now
there's other ways.
There's other ways, but that's the main way to get a well-grounded claim. And, remember, it's got to be related back to something that happened in the service, an illness or an injury that is chronic. What's that mean? Chronic. It's continued till today.
So if I'm a World War II vet and I'm in my early 90s and I had pleurisy, a bad attack of pleurisy or some upper respiratory condition, and it happened while I was in active duty, and for the last 50, 60 years it's been bothering me and it's still bothering me today, there's a chance he's got a well-grounded claim.
Yeah, it's good. Based on that fact pattern, there's a good chance the doctor's going to give us the right kind of statement, and we're going to fire it off and hopefully get that claim approved. Exactly.
What we want to caution you about is going to a service officer, regardless where they're at, whether it's at the post level or somewhere else, and going in there and talking about your situation and being poo-pooed or said, you don't have a claim. You want to make sure you get the right information, because unfortunately we encounter at an AVET project all too often and it just happened with a widow that had eligibility for a claim, and I'm not going to mention the service organization, but she got bad advice.
Well, and that's good. Let's transition from there into a little bit of information on dependents indemnity compensation.
Important point.
And pension. And let's use the fact pattern, because Garen shared this with me. I'm not going to give names out or anything. But,
exactly.
But the fact pattern was this person went, saw a veteran service officer, and she was the widow of a ex-POW who was a POW for several years.
Yes.
And was rated 100% by the VA for several years.
Yes.
And the veteran service officer assumed she was asking about the low-income pension
yes, he did.
claim, and so he asked some questions about what's your assets and income and those kind of things which are relevant to a pension claim, and she had more than $80,000 in net worth, and so that person told her, you're not eligible.
Ouch.
Well, that person was not even dealing with the right issue. The issue should have gotten all the information. You got to ask all the right questions, get all the information, and since she was a surviving spouse of an ex-POW who was rated 100%, and for ex-POWs it's a special rule, you only have to be rated 100% for a year or more, then the cause of death is not material to awarding DIC, which is like $1,200 and change right now, tax-free monthly.
which can make a world of difference to a widower.
Oh, absolutely. So, and there's a little kicker on that too. If they had a survivor benefit plan, you know, that's
Again, you get
deep into the if and or but world
that's
of
a
VA
fact.
benefits.
But you're hitting on the point there. She went there in good faith to talk to them about what potential benefits she might have, and they didn't even, like you said, they didn't get the question right.
Yeah, or didn't ask it at all. You know, but it's almost criminal in my mind for a veteran, somebody working as a veteran service officer who should know they're not qualified to say no, to say no to the person, and the person walked on off, and fortunately Guerin runs into him through some kind of meeting somewhere.
You bet. We're out there in the community.
Yeah, and we get that back on the straight line to get what's going to be a slam dunk.
That's for
Dependents
sure.
Indemnity compensation.
Yeah, it's really a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And had the service officer, and again, we're not bashing the service officers, we applaud them for the work that they do in reaching out to vets, but if they're giving you, if you walk away and you're either angry or upset or just kind of puzzled, then you need to contact somebody that does know.
Exactly. So, and if you're unsure about the advice you got, you can call the VA, 1-800-827-1000, at least to get started in the right direction.
Exactly, and that number, you know, it's hard to get through to them. Glenn can't be overwhelmed, but he's always there to help, and so are we. If you give Kim at AVET Project her email jingle, if you send an email to Kim at AVET Project, we'll get you routed to the right place for sure. It's all about helping the vets and getting the correct information out there so they get the benefits they're entitled to, as well as their dependents. Glenn, before we go, it's always important that we stress this.
Yeah, Veterans Crisis Line for veterans or family members of veterans or friends who are worried about them is 1-800-273-8255, and for veteran issues, press 1. And as always, don't forget, think of that.